Hey everyone, so I just wanted to say I miss you guys and I wish we were in class, but we are going to start working on our second week of assignments. Some announcements. Happy Easter. I know that we can't really go and travel and celebrate with family, but it's still a fun time to celebrate holidays and do something special. Assignments should be finished by this Friday. Tutorials are going to be every day 10 to 11 a.m., but it's only going to be Tuesday to Friday this week. You need to pay attention to an echo for any announcements and just please be flexible with us. This week you are responsible for a Slant Asymptotes assignment, so the videos from last week should help you with that. There is a video that I made that you need to take notes on. The instructions are in the video, which is this video. And then there is a menu choice sheet. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in that assignment and only choose one of the options and complete it and submit it. And then if you're not busy, my sister is an ER nurse, and underneath the Factoring Friday extra credit, if you wanted to factor that function and then also make a thank you card for her, I know she would really appreciate it. Okay, so in my video, we're going to go over some notation. I already wrote the notes out because I wanted them to be very pretty, and I get a little bit caught up in that whenever I'm talking and doing it at the same time, so I figured this would make it a little bit quicker, and you can always slow down the video. So we're going to be talking about vectors this week. So they're typically written as a U or a V, but those letters can be interchanged, and mathematicians choose to do that because it's at the end of the alphabet, and X, Y, and Z are typically axes, and W is as well, but that's a little bit beyond our class. So I chose U, and so U is this vector, and vectors are written with these little pointy brackets, and they have an X component and a Y component. Just like a coordinate pair, you can see it over here in the graph. A coordinate pair, if there was a point right here, it would be written as this X value and this Y value, but now it's written in these little brackets as X and Y. So, some things about vectors. The head is the pointy side and the tail is where it originates. So right now it's at the origin and they don't necessarily have to start there. And if you notice, if you take a line from the head and connect it to the x-axis perpendicularly, there's a right triangle, and you can use trig equations to solve for x and y and for the distance right here, which we'll get to later. So now what I want you guys to do is, if theta was 30, so if this angle right here was 30 and x was 2, how can you solve for y? So pause this video and I want you to write that down on a piece of paper and then press play. So what I did is I know that tangent is opposite over adjacent. So tangent of this angle right here would be y over x. And since x is 2, I'm going to multiply both sides of this equation by 2 to get y equals 2 tangent of 30. And then you can solve that by putting it into a calculator, or you can look for tangent on your unit circle of 30, which is sine over. But that is all stuff that you covered in the last unit, and I can always go over and help you with it in tutorials. So there's another kind of notation for them. This kind is more geometrically and less algebraically, but you can use tail to head notation. So if the tail is A and the head is B, it's AB with a little arrow over it. I only do one side of the arrow, you can do the other side as well. And A, B are coordinate pairs, so like if A was 1, 2 and B was 3, 4, A and B, the vector would be from 1, 2 to 3, 4. So there are two qualities of a vector, magnitude and direction. Just like in Despicable Me, when there's Vector who strikes evil with magnitude and direction, that's how I always remember it, and I knew that before I even started studying vectors. So the magnitude is the square root of x squared plus y squared, when x is the first variable of the vector and y is the second variable of the vector. And that is the Pythagorean theorem, because this is a right triangle up here, and it's denoted with these two little lines around the vector Or you can have 4 lines around the vector. It's the same thing, but there's some stuff in linear algebra that kind of gets confusing, so it's your choice. So now I want you to pause this video one more time, and I want you to draw out a vector and point out the magnitude for me. Okay, so I drew out a little vector right here, and I said this was my x component and this was my y component, and my magnitude is this hypotenuse or line right here. So one other thing is direction. So it is the angle from the x-axis going counterclockwise. So that's this way to the left, and it's denoted with a theta or a circle with a horizontal line through it. So if this is my x and y axis and this is my vector, it is the angle from the x-axis to the vector going counterclockwise. Okay, so now that we know the 2 qualities of a vector, I want you to make a hypothesis as to what are equal vectors. So, equal vectors are when they have the same magnitude and direction. So, there are lots of cases where they can be equal and not equal, but it's actually going to be part of your assignment to come up with an example, so I don't want to give away any solutions.